Hey, ¿qué onda, chavos? Bienvenidos aquí a lo que viene siendo los amigos de Downey Nissan. Oigan, hoy tenemos a una mujer que se encarga de poner guapos a los que ya colgaron los tenis, mientras tú que te estás echando tu maquillaje así en tu casa ahorita mismo o viendo
el
esto,
carro.
ándale en el carro antes de salir, ella se los pone a los que ya no van a salir ni a ver el sol. Así es. Bienvenidos, Maggie, ¿cómo estás?
Good. How are you guys?
Good, good, good. Oh my goodness. Today we have a special guest, Rebecca. She actually deals with dead bodies. She's the one that is in charge of pues making them look nice, for us who perhaps are going to go and see them be buried and stuff like that. Right, Maggie?
Yeah, exactly.
Oye,
Tough job.
yeah, it's a really tough job. You're an apprentice embalmer, correct?
Yes, exactly.
And you're 3 months away from finishing, and you've been doing this for 2 years already.
Yeah.
And you've already dealt with more than 400 bodies.
Yes.
Damn.
Are they bodies or corpse?
Oh,
What's the proper term?
Well, technically, the proper term would be decedent. Maybe even you could refer to them as someone's loved one because corpse just sounds so detached, and we always have to remember that they are someone's loved one.
Ones, yes.
They are someone, who had life. So in general, I think corpse is just very lack of respect.
Really?
I do know.
Really?
Yes, I do know that a lot of people would refer corpse, cadaver. I don't think that's correct, and I think a lot of people in the industry would agree with that.
Wow, that's crazy.
That
So
is
you've been doing this
crazy.
for 2 years, and so are you going to like a medical school, or how does this work?
Oh, okay, so I have been in the industry, I want to say about 4 to 5 years now. My apprenticeship, it's different in every state, but in the state of California, they require you 2 years, full time, and you have to embalm every 15 days. But they require a minimum of 50 embalmings, right? So I work at a location where we just have a high volume of cases. So it's been roughly 400. I'm still three months away from finishing. But it requires more trade science program. I did this a very different route from typical a lot of people would.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, you would go do your 4 years of college, do your prerequisites, and then you would do the mortuary science program, which is another 2 years. But I did that backwards
Right.
because my introduction to this industry was a little bit different. So my boss told me, okay, cool, I'll give you your apprenticeship. You've been doing really good, but you cannot go to the program and work full-time here at the same time. It's just extremely difficult. Things are going to get messy. It's not possible, right? So I did my apprenticeship first, and when I finish my apprenticeship, I will be enrolling into the mortuary science program this fall. So I did it backwards from
Wow.
traditionally. Yeah.
So there's a whole thing behind it. I always thought it was just apply because you like putting makeup or making people look nice, and that was it. But no, there's a whole there's definitely a whole
gosh.
science behind this.
Not just that, it's extremely difficult. The program itself is very intense, rigorous, which is why I still don't dare to call myself an embalmer. I am an apprentice embalmer because in order to call yourself an embalmer, to be a licensed embalmer, there's so much that goes into
Right.
it, and I don't want to discredit anyone and say, yeah, I'm an embalmer just because I embalm,
Right.
not licensed.
Dude, but you're 3 months away. How do you feel?
So excited. Granted, I still have to go through the mortuary science program, but
Right.
even in just this 2 years that I've been doing this, I have learned so much, seen so much, and it just gives you a deeper sense of appreciation for
Right.
everyone that I work with,
Right.
everything that we do. So I'm extremely excited.
Yeah.
No, I'm not nowhere near half. Like I'm close to being done, but not fully. But
Right.
even just finishing that one step, I'm really happy.
So I invited you because, we invited you because, the Pope has just passed away.
Yeah.
And I was watching TV and I'm like, oh my goodness, he looks like he's still alive. But before we get to that part of everything, ¿cómo diablos empezó todo esto para ti? Like, how did you start? Like, as a little girl, what were you doing? Like,
Yeah.
did it
You
all
prefer me
start from there or what?
Spanish or English?
Yeah, both. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
English.
English. So, my mom has a bachelor's in criminal justice, right? So when I was younger, she would work full time and then she would go to school full time. So she would get home really late and she would come home with all her books, like different criminology stuff. And I would read them and I was like only 12 years old.
Wow.
And I'd be like, this is really interesting. Like, I wonder what this is about.
Right.
So when I was little, I had no idea that there was this like entire industry to this, right? No one
Right.
in my family does this. So I was like, I want to do this, but I never knew how to actually get in. So I started doing some research, and I was like, okay, you need to go to like school. Here in California, you have the one in Sacramento and you have the one in Cypress, right?
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to start doing that, right? Maybe in high school, I had a teacher who was like, okay, so since you guys are going to graduate soon, go into and try shadowing someone that works in what you would want to work in.
Okay, but before we go into high school, I want to go back when you were a kid, because you say you started reading these books because your mom left them, on the kitchen table and stuff like that. So were you talking about body parts and stuff like that with your friends? Like,
No,
I don't know. Like,
I don't think I was. I was a little bizarre, but not like that.
yeah,
No.
you weren't like telling your friends, hey, look at this. Look what I learned, because obviously you were learning at the time.
To be honest, I didn't. I'm only child, so I didn't have tons of friends growing up.
Okay.
Maybe that's why I'm a little bit weird, right?
Well, you're not weird.
Everyone's weird in their own way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I had tons of cousins though, but I guess my family always knew that I was like kind of strange. So I would talk to my mom about it because she was obviously in school for it.
Right.
So we would like watch like different documentaries, like crime documentaries and stuff, and that was just our thing,
Okay.
right? So I guess the only person that I truly like talked about it with, like details, was my mom. Then growing up, obviously I would tell people, I want to do this, I want to get into this.
Right.
But again, no one I knew was into it.
What was people's reactions when you would say that?
Like, oh, this girl's kind of strange. But
Because you were young, you're a little girl, but you had all these ideas and thoughts,
yeah.
yeah. So, but it's difficult because you don't know like cómo expresarlo, de dónde,
Claro.
cómo meterte en algo así. So
Porque no es común.
no.
Ajá.
No, so my family was always like, okay, that's Maggie. You can go ahead and do it,
So then in high school,
Yeah.
you were saying that your teacher
The
what?
teacher was like, okay, go shadow a job you would want to work in, right? I don't know what my other classmates did, but my first reaction was like, I'm going to go shadow a funeral home.
Wow. That's
No,
amazing that you already knew.
But I went in there and I was like, I will clean your guys' bathrooms. I don't care what you have me do. I just
Wow.
really want to like learn about this.
Right.
Granted, I didn't know that the funeral home I was going to was a corporate owned location. So it's like going into Disneyland and saying, hey, can I be your janitor?
Right.
It's not going to happen, right? So they were like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. We'll have to get back to you. Never got back to me. That's fine, right? But I kept insisting, like, every time I would see, like, a position on Indeed or something go up, I'd be like, I'm going to apply for that. And they wouldn't take me because I didn't have either experience or the school. And this industry is so hard to get into if you don't have school or experience,
Right.
right? So, did you want me to fast forward from that?
No, keep going.
Okay.
You're good.
So then, like, after multiple years of, like, trying, obviously I had other little jobs between then, like retail and stuff like that.
Were you doing like makeup on the side or anything like that?
I went to makeup school, actually.
That's why your makeup is so flawless.
Oh, you think so?
Yes.
I just literally got up with this in like 15 minutes. Thank
I
you,
wish
though.
I can do all that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I went to makeup school, and again, everyone I went to school with was like, oh, I want to do celebrity makeup. I want to do this. And I was always like, I don't want to work with celebrities. I would want to work with like
I don't want to work with people who are going to react back to me or talk back to me.
I always said if I stayed in the makeup industry, I would have wanted to, do makeup like on homeless women or women who just got out of like domestic violence.
Wow.
Like who needed just like that
You
pick me
have
up.
a big heart.
And yes, in my tough exterior, right?
I know. I've
Yeah.
seen that.
So obviously there's no not that I knew of at the moment, like actual way to make that into a career, because
Right.
those are all like side projects you do, like volunteer work and stuff like that. So I finished that, right? But in my head I was still like, well, I'm not satisfied. Like I want to continue, finding something in this industry, in the death care industry. So then, like I said, I would apply to like every little post that I would see. I would get interviewed and I would never get it, right? So eventually one day, I went to a funeral home. She had up a listing, and I'm so glad that this woman like actually let me into her funeral home and let me start working with her.
It was non-corporate, no, obviously.
No, it was family owned.
Nice.
She was like the owner of it.
Right.
So she saw that desire in me. She was like, okay, like I'm gonna take a chance on you, and she just started showing me paperwork. I had no idea that there was this much paperwork in dying. Like permits, death certificates,
Right.
all of that, right? Because I was always just so into like what how it was happening in the back.
What you
right?
knew what we all know, supposedly.
Yeah,
You know,
but there's like tons of paper.
tons of stuff.
So she introduced me like, this is how you do this. This is how you do this. This is how you answer phone calls. I was essentially just her receptionist, right? And then after that, I decided to just something in me was like, I should apply to a job as a crematory technician in Oregon. I got the job. And so
Wow.
I ended up moving to Oregon. And I did cremations for, I don't know, maybe about like 6 months. But here's the thing. I did cremations for pets,
Oh.
which in my experience was probably a little bit harder. Because, oh my gosh, I have such a soft spot for pets. Not saying that I don't for people,
Right.
but I would see people come in and they would mourn their pets. And I'm so emotional.
Right.
So just seeing that would always be like, ugh.
So how'd you
You know?
how'd you get over it though, or you're not over it?
I'll be honest with you. Even now, there's some cases that hit home.
Yeah.
That, you know,
You become numb to
I
it.
don't want to say numb. No, I don't want to say numb because I don't think you're ever numb to people mourning.
Right.
You know, but I think there's you compartmentalize. You know, I probably messed up that word, but when I'm at work and I'm doing a case that's particularly sad,
Yeah.
my job is to do what's in front of me and to take care of my decedent. And if I feel like crying about it, I could do that at home, but not at work, because right now my decedent needs me to be in my full 5 senses or everything. To just make sure that I'm doing them justice.
Wow.
Right.
So not only do you deal with human remains, but you also deal with the family that was that. You're like, it's a well-rounded 360 for you with dealing with so much.
In this location I work at, I very rarely ever see family. I'm always just what we refer to as a care center. So I'm always just there. Sometimes every blue moon I'll get sent out on a service, but for the most part, it's just I'm dealing with people's loved ones. I'm preparing them from the moment they come in to the moment that they leave. That's all me and my coworkers.
Wow. ¿Alguna vez has visto como un obviamente son un hombre y lo maquillas y se ve bien guapo y dices, man, how come I meet this guy before?
Yeah, you know, we're not gonna deny there's some beautiful girls who come in, and you know, there's some very handsome men, and you're like, wow, they're so handsome, you know. So it's just like anything, right?
How do you get inspired? Because I know sometimes, you know, you do the makeup and everything, and then you see that your loved one and like, they didn't look like that, you know. So how do you transform them as much as you can to what they look like?
We always ask for the family to provide us with a photo. And then we just try recreating it as much as we can. Sometimes they'll send us a picture where they had shorter hair or longer hair, and we just kind of have to work with it. And if we have questions, we'll reach out to the ranger and, you know, have them ask the family, like, hey, you know, we noticed that their facial hair was different. What would you like us to do about that?
Yeah, because it's somebody you've never met, and you just have to go based on a picture, and you have to try to simulate that as much as possible, right?
So you have to if you possible, ask as many pictures as you can. Granted, sometimes they'll just give you one and it's like a photo of their ID. No one looks like how they do in their ID, but you just have to do the best that you can, you know, and ask questions if you need to.
Oye, ¿alguna vez no te ha tocado una viuda o viudo que te diga, oye, no le puedes quitar lo amargado que tenía en su cara?
You know, I'm not going to lie to you. Hay unos que llegan con una tristeza en su cara, ¿verdad? Entonces, pues hacemos lo mejor para aliviar eso, ¿verdad? O sea, like, obviously, you set their features and do what you can.
Right.
But sometimes, pues en general hay unas personas que ya tienen la cara así como...
Amargado como yo.
Y como yo, igualmente, ¿verdad? Entonces, bueno, pues...
So what would you do to Diablito?
He looks good.
With like big smile on my face. Oye, ¿qué fue lo más difícil al principio de tu carrera? ¿Te dio miedo o te dio asco al inicio?
Never. Nunca me dio miedo. Pues asco son olores que uno nunca se va a encontrar así en su vida cotidiana, ¿verdad? Entonces, pues te acostumbras a todo. Yo digo que las personas somos demasiado resilientes. I'm sorry, how do you say that? We're resilient.
Resilient.
So te acostumbras a todo,
Wow.
¿verdad? Pero miedo nunca me dio miedo, así como, ay, ¿qué es esto? Pero hay una gente que sí, o sea, en mi carrera he visto mucha gente que no aguanta, que dice, no, ¿sabes qué? Pensé que sí podía y no, Ese mismo día se van a fuga, ¿verdad?
Imagine, Rebecca, more than 400 cases. Have you ever seen anything crazy like paranormal or anything like when you're there by yourself, you probably have your headphones on or something, and then all of a sudden you're like, hey, hi.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. But it's nothing ever. It's never like ay que miedo, because I genuinely believe that they know that we're not doing anything to harm them. So it's like little things like the water would turn on, or you'll hear some whispering behind you, or you hear footsteps or like keys jingling. But it's never anything that like, oh my gosh, that was like,
Rebecca, the water turns on.
I get scared just hearing sounds in my own closet getting ready this morning. Like, I can't imagine being there by myself.
What has been the body, the worst body you've had to kind of manage?
Without giving too many details, I think I've seen a lot. Gosh, I can't even tell you off the top of my head. Car accidents are bad. Motorcycle accidents are bad. But also what people do to other people. Homicides are terrible. Gosh, I could tell you so many things. But it's difficult, and I don't know how we do it, but we somehow make it work and give the family someone presentable to look at.
Right.
So I will say that I work with some very amazing women who, if I ever need help or if they need help, we all jump in and, okay, let's do this. And we get creative about the things that we need to do to reconstruct them again.
Right.
To make them look presentable for their family, to give their family like, they say, okay, ya los vi, se ven bien y puedo descansar.
Right.
¿Verdad?
You mentioned creativity. I know that in Puerto Rico, I've seen a couple of funerals where they have the deceased in different positions and stuff like that. Like they're either on a motorcycle or they're DJing. Have you had any crazy?
God.
Yes, it's
I've
crazy.
never seen
no,
that.
you got to see it.
No.
You got to
looks cool.
TikTok and
Crazy.
stuff, man.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Has that ever happened to you? Have they ever
No.
requested? No.
No, I wouldn't even know how to go about that, honestly. That's something that I would have to like learn off of the embalmers who are actually doing that, but no, we've never done that.
You have a question?
I would just, would you, now that you do this, would you recommend like, getting cremated or like going through that process?
That's a good. That was my question right there. Yeah.
I think it's totally up to the person what they want. Personally, I've always said I would like to be green burial, which is when you're not embalmed and you're just, put back into the earth.
Green burial. That's what it's called?
Green burial.
When it's just all natural?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is it an open
But they
casket?
don't open the casket.
You could. You just have to know, like, embalming is not required unless you're going to be, like, shipped out or something in little instances like that.
Like
But
the
for
Pope? Kind of?
that I know of, he wasn't embalmed.
So he's on natural state.
Don't quote me on that. I don't know because I don't follow that.
Right.
But to my knowledge, he was not embalmed.
How long does a body last? It depends how healthy you were when you passed away.
I don't know. I can't give you like a proper like timeline. Granted, you could prolong it by putting dry ice, like different ways to just keep the body like cool. But I don't know what exactly they're doing.
So
to
green
him.
burial, huh?
Yeah, I wanted to, and then now I'm kind of like cremation. But it's totally up to the person what they want. If they want their family to view them one last time, or it's whatever you want.
What about you, Rebecca? What do you want?
I always say I would like to get cremated and like be thrown back to like the ocean or
You want to be thrown here at down in Nissan?
Down in Nissan. I want to grow a tree out of me.
That's actually beautiful. Both of those things that you said, I think, are really beautiful because the ones that you said, the burial at sea, gorgeous ceremonies. They'll take you out like in a boat with your whole family, and when they release like your cremated remains, they throw them in with like flower petals, and it's a gorgeous ceremony. We had a demonstration. We went into a demonstration for that, and it was a beautiful ceremony. Call me crazy, but literally as soon as the person's cremated remains were thrown into the ocean, like little dolphins came out. The craziest thing,
Oh my
but
God,
it was
that's exactly what I want.
it was a beautiful thing. So I think that's a great option. And green burial, the one with the tree, that is also something really cool. My name is Magnolia, so I always said, oh, I would want a magnolia tree,
Oh.
right? But there's only select locations that you could do that at. So it's
Really?
also
Where?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I think there's one in Joshua Tree, but don't quote me on it. I'd have to do more research for you.
So the embalmment includes it's included in the funeral services and stuff like that, right? It's like a package and stuff. Right?
Yeah.
I've always wanted now that you mentioned it, green burial sounds good. Like I would like to, but I've always wanted to be underneath a tree, but on a hilltop, looking
That would
over.
be beautiful.
Yeah, that's what since I can't afford a home up on the hill, at least that, man. Give me that at least. You know, I want to be overlooking, some. It's another feeling. What are you laughing? Say it. Say what you want to say. Go ahead.
No, I'm just wondering, aren't you already going to be overlooking everything?
No, but yeah, well, quote unquote, supposedly, but it'd be nice to just.
And then your family has to walk all the way up the hill because you decided to go all the way up the hill.
They'd be complaining like always. Oh, he always wants, perfect. That would be so mean, man.
That would be torturous for them.
I like that. That's a nice idea.
Yeah.
Like people go take their ashes to Dodger Stadium. People hold on to the ashes.
Yeah.
There's different things that people just like to do.
That's crazy.
People turn them into necklaces or rings, artwork.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So you're from the area, and she was telling me that she just passes through here. She's never even imagined coming in here. So what do you think about Downey Nissan?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I see that orange car, a gorgeous car.
Rebecca, tell her a little bit about the orange car.
That's the owner's car. It's won a bunch of awards. So it's a collectible that he has, and he likes to share and display. The owner of Downey Nissan.
Oh, I thought you meant him.
No.
That's your car?
No. I can't even. No. No, but do you own a Nissan or what do you own?
I have a Ford Bronco.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's nice. It gets me where I need to be.
Well, if you ever need an electric vehicle, she's the one.
Yeah,
Rebecca's the one to give you a super discount.
Yes, we have a great discount right now. We have the 000, 0 payments for 90 days, 0 APR, and 0 down.
Wow.
On select models. So
that's cool.
So out of all these cars that you've seen, do you think this is a Rogue, right?
Yes, it is. This is Nissan Rogue.
Oh, my
Scarlet.
mom had one of those.
Oh, she does?
She did, and then she got in a car accident, and they just totaled it.
Oh, wow. Is she okay?
She's fine. Yeah, this was like 3 years ago. But actually, this Nissan Rogue, I used to drive it, really comfortable. It was similar to like a Ford Escape. So really comfortable, really spacious, really liked it.
Oh, they're a lot more spacious now. We did a video inside one of them.
Really?
Well, not that kind of a video. Oh. Like you're like, really?
Oh, really?
No, not that kind of a video. Demonstrating how spacious these vehicles are, and it's really nice. What are you doing? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking about how nice and spacious the Nissan Rogue is. I actually drove my mom. She has one too this morning, and the NASA-inspired seats are just so comfortable.
NASA-inspired. I'd have to look at that.
Yes, they're if you stay hours in your car, you want to drive a Nissan Rogue for sure.
Okay. Yeah, they were a great car. It was a great car. I liked it. I was really kind of like bummed out that, they had to total it, but.
Right. Hey, Maggie, so what do you tell the youngsters right now in regards to wanting to get into this field? Because nowadays everyone's into they want to become YouTube stars. They want to become TikTokers. What do you tell these kids, man?
I think if you're going to get into this industry, you have to genuinely do it for the right reasons, not because, oh my gosh, horror and guts, which is the typical response that people would assume. But there's so much more that goes to it. There's so much school that goes into it. And also, I think it's really nice to do something for a family. I think that's the best part, is that you're helping a family through like the most difficult time of their life. And so I think just any career in general where you're helping communities is good, right?
So you spoke about shadowing. Do you think we could shadow you one day to go check you out work? Like
that's something you'd have to ask my boss. But typically, no, it's a very closed off
area.
If you're not, if you're not like in the industry, you practically have no access. I know, bummer, right?
Right. No, for real, it is. I want to check it out.
No, because then you there's magic behind it, so you can't.
Oh, okay. Any other questions before we let her go?
How long have you been doing this?
In the industry, I've been about 4 or 5 years, but actual apprenticeship, just the past 2 years.
And she's almost done.
Almost done.
Nice.
It's exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited for you because I know going to school is difficult, especially if you have a job. Going to school, it's really hard, and for you to continue and wanting to finish, and you said you have to go to school after again. It's a very admirable. Is that the word of you to do that? There's not a lot of people that want to go to school nowadays, you know. So
Yeah, a lot of people would, oh, I don't need school. Granted, not everyone. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, you need school. If someone doesn't want to, we've seen tons of people become very successful without needing school. But in this general career, that's what you need to do. I'm not the best student. I don't typically like school, but you do what you have to do for something you love. So it's like looking at the bigger picture of everything, right?
right. So I mentioned earlier that if you use earphones while you're working, do you use headphones? Like, do you hear music?
No, typically we have like a Bluetooth speaker, and we all have music playing through the Bluetooth speaker. Like my coworkers and I have like a playlist that we all add songs to. So it's typically like a little speaker.
And what's the playlist?
Oh my gosh, everything. Right now, like one of my coworkers loves the Wicked soundtrack, but then you have like me, who I like listening to canciones de señora. So I have on like Alejandra Guzman and Gloria Trevi and Jose Jose.
Play in the background. It's crazy.
So it's a little bit of everything, right? It's just our personality, it's just how we are, and it's cool because you'll walk in and you'll hear a musical song, you know, and then you'll come back in and you hear something like El Triste, you know, so it's always rotating and changing.
That's crazy. Well, Maggie, thank you for being here with us and Los Amigos de Downey Nissan. We really appreciate you, sharing your story with us here at Downey. And remember, if you ever need a vehicle or your family or friend, definitely big discounts with Rebecca.
I will remember that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you for being
do you have
here,
social media? Can people follow you somewhere or?
I would prefer not to. I like to be very kept to myself.
Okay. Cool. No worries.
I appreciate it though.
All right. All right, Maggie. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Número de teléfono de aquí de Downey Nissan.
888-282-5597 o ven en persona porque te queremos ayudar aquí en tu Nissan dealer número 1, Downey Nissan.
Nice. Thank you for coming.